Alright.
Alright, let me get... Oh, jeez, man. There you go. They can't see this.
This whole thing's going downhill quick.
30 minutes, right? We'll go with 29.
Welcome to episode, what is it, 6? Of the
6.
Hard Luck Outdoorsman podcast. I'm one of the hosts, Cody.
And I'm the other host, Eric.
And we're finally back in studio. Eric's been taking his home inspector classes, getting licensed to inspect your homes. So those of you looking to buy or sell houses, keep Eric in mind. Despite what your realtor may or may not tell you, Eric's the guy you want to go with.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we're going a new direction, so that's where I've been. Like you said, had a little bit of a flu going on. I don't recommend. I almost died.
Yeah, that's been going around. Judah and Bo have both been a little sick. Cassidy's been under the weather, but so far I've kind of stayed out of the worst of it.
Well, that's just you. You're just immune to it for some reason.
Hey, you ain't wrong. I'm not gonna lie. I've got a pretty good immune system so far.
Yeah, you just eat dirt, right? That's how you get through it?
I eat dirt. I drink a lot of Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah, burn it all out.
Yeah, burn it all out.
Fluid.
Yeah, it's not great, but no, looking forward to getting back in here and talking a little bit about headlamps walking in.
Yeah, we decided to go controversial today. We got a couple of them that we may not see eye to eye on. This is definitely one that we touched on, maybe episode 3.
Yeah, this was when we touched on with our gear review, where we have a little bit differing opinion.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I told you, I kind of use both. I like to say that I like to use as many tools in my bag as possible if I have it. So yeah, like you said, you said headlamps, or did you?
Let's just go overall headlamps or flashlights. So
okay.
The basis of this debate is whether or not we use red light or green light, or just use your bright LED white light.
All the time.
And should we cover turkey hunting and deer hunting as we're coming into turkey season?
We can, yeah.
Yeah, we might as well. But let's start on deer hunting.
All right.
So deer hunting, when I walk into the woods in the dark, or out of the woods in the dark, I say 95% of the time I'm using a bright white light.
What's the other 5%? What are you using?
The other 5% I'm using green or red, just whichever comes up quicker on my headlamp, and that is pretty much only as I'm climbing the tree.
So yeah, we're basically do the same thing.
Okay.
So, I will admit, when we first started hunting together in high school, I would, rain or shine, all the time, I'd go in there with a red light. But then it was like, man, I can't really see as well.
Yeah.
Right? But when I was touching on with using all the tools in your bag, like as you do as well, like I'm sure like when you get to the bottom of your tree, if you can use red or green light, it's because you want to be not seen as much, right? Like there's a deer way off. Obviously a white light is more blinding to us, or like even like, deer in the headlights from a car, they're going to get blinded by it more than red. Yeah. In my opinion.
Well, and here, I used to always use a red or green light walking in no matter what. And when my opinion changed, so the premise of using the red or green is that deer are colorblind, so they don't see that headlight at all.
Yeah.
And the idea was to not be seen by the deer. And when my opinion changed, it was because I felt like I was busting deer. Excuse me, I had a little bit of a burp. I was busting deer all the time walking in. And the reason for that was because I made so much noise because I couldn't see crap with that red or green light. And the story on how I switched to a white light is actually really funny. So we were pulling. I was driving down the road with a couple friends in college, and there were a bunch of deer on the side of the road. Well, we pulled in and walked right at them, but standing in the midst of the headlights. So they were blinded, and we walked to within just a couple steps of the deer because they couldn't see us. And I thought to myself, I said, they weren't so terrified by headlights that they ran off. They couldn't see us. I was like, if I'd have done this in a red or green light, they'd have taken off right away because they'd have seen me.
Right.
And because the way deer night vision works essentially is that they pull in, their pupils way over dilate compared to a human, and they bring in all the ambient light, and that's how they see. Think of like a, with a camera, what do you adjust? What is it, ISO or something? Mm-hmm. Where the frames per second go way down and it's pulling in tons and tons of light, and you essentially get a very rough form of night vision. And it's kind of the same with the deer. They just bring in so much ambient light, so if you're using a red or green light, they can't see the light, but it is creating more ambient light, and essentially they can see you better in my mind. So okay. I went to a white light, and I've used one ever since then in college. And after a minute, I'll tell some stories of why I've stuck by that.
I gotcha. Well, yeah, I mean, like we said, we both use white and red light and green light. The one thing I will not agree with you on is that they see red and green light better than white light. And now we obviously can't say, like, we can't be behind a deer's eyes, right? We will never know. It's all going to be pure speculation.
Right.
But how I look at it as, and this may be kind of, going out for a jog like a little too much, but if you're getting up in the, or just say you're on the ground hunting, are you going to wear a white suit or are you going to wear a red or green one?
Well, obviously red or green. And I think it's the same with a headlight. I don't think they see the red or the green headlight.
Okay.
I just think they see you better because there's nothing distracting from you.
Okay, yeah. So you're saying that with the white light it blinds them. So they don't see you.
I think it's a distraction.
Okay.
It blinds them so they can't see you.
Okay, I got you. All right, so that makes more sense. So I agree with you there.
Okay.
And we're not going to get out the boxing gloves here because, you can't tell we got it.
There's enough common ground.
Yeah, we're agreeing on it, so don't worry about it. If you're watching, on the camera there, you might see a couple, like, why the heck just say that there,
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I agree with you. Like I said, I mean, before when I first started hunting, I was always like, and keep in mind with my dad, when you're hunting, first time I hunted on public land is a totally different animal. I get it. When I was hunting, right, I'd have to look with my eyes, and I'm sure that's what you did as well. But like, if you had to turn your head like this all the time, so he was like, from the start he was like hardcore all the way.
Yeah.
If you have to cough, don't cough.
Yeah.
You're going to be miserable the rest of the night. Don't scare my deer. You know what I mean? Which I'm grateful for it, but like what I'm saying is, what I come from is, I was like, all right, I don't want the deer to hear me, smell me, or see me. So I'm rocking that red light every time I go in there. I don't care if I make enough noise. They're just going to think I'm a deer. Right?
So man, that's funny because
now it makes sense, right? And I'm not blaming it on my dad. I mean, it's just the way that he taught me, and everything he's taught me has made me a better hunter. I think you can say the same about.
Well, I think everybody has totally different opinions. I mean, how many people do you know that will not go in the woods without camouflage?
Exactly, and the other thing that goes to it, I'm not saying you're afraid of the dark, but people that use a red or green light.
The stigma. They're if you use a bright light, the stigma is, oh, well, you're afraid of the dark. You're scared to walk through the woods.
But there's also all the other factors. Living here in North Carolina, we got copperheads, we got cottonmouths. You don't want to step on one of them.
Oh, yeah.
And it's usually warm the whole season, too.
Yeah,
right? Like,
pretty much.
Last 2 months.
I've got a picture of a cottonmouth I killed in late December in North Carolina.
Yeah.
That was out while I was tracking a deer, and it was out and about.
Yeah. I mean, all I have to say is, use a white light or red light, whatever you want to do. But from whenever I started first hunting to now, I feel like it's not worth it. Just, you know, as far as stepping on a snake or even falling in a friggin' creek and breaking your shoulder. You know, it's just going in there, like, if you want to go in there quiet, the white light is the way to go, and I do that.
And that's kind of, so, you know, you were talking about all the deer senses, and when you were hunting with your dad, it was, you don't make noise, you don't move quickly, you don't do anything to be seen, heard, or smelled.
Right.
And I think that it all plays into, you know, essentially trying to evade deer in their own kitchen, and that was another reason I switched to the white light, is I'm a lot quieter. And I've shifted my focus where I'm not as worried about being quiet as much as making the right kinds of sounds. Mm-hmm. You know, in the last few years I've switched. I don't walk how I normally do. I walk on my toes. I essentially toe walk all the way in, because the sound of your foot rolling, there's no animal that rolls their foot in the woods.
It's how the Indians used to hunt, right?
Yeah.
It's heel toe.
Yeah, it's heel toe or just all toe. And I've gotten to where,
man, you get some pretty big calves from doing just toe.
I'll get in and I'll be sweating and sore. It's brutal. But I've gotten to where I've really started focusing on my walks in and trying to make natural sounds.
Yeah.
Less than trying to make no sound.
Right.
Because what I found was trying to walk in dead silent, I always ended up tripping and falling. I always ended up doing something stupid.
What I guess we have the pictures. There's maybe a story we could tell. What light did you have on when you fell in the swamp on public land?
Red light.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, there you go, folks.
Yeah, fell in the swamp using a red light.
I thought it was. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, red light. I want to say that's one of the last times I used a red light.
Okay, so that was a turning point.
Yeah. Do you want to tell that story real quick?
I don't know if we've told it before, but yeah, we can tell it. I mean, it's definitely...
No, I think we did. I think we told them the very first episode.
We'll rehash it real quick, just in case they didn't see it.
Real quick recap.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not the one that took the brunt of it, but... So Cody, Joe, and I are walking into the woods on a very frosty, was it November? Maybe October?
I think it was late October.
Very...
It was first, like, hard frost we'd had of the year.
It was cold. And it was a spot we scouted before, and it's not too far off the road, but right there is the swamp. And we planned to set Joe up, I guess, on the other side of that little creek.
Yeah. And then you and I are going to go all the way to the back of it.
That's right. And Cody's leading the way, and you got your bow. We had our climbers, I guess, at the time on our back, so a lot of weight. And Joe's in the middle of us. I'm all the way in the back. You're in the front, and all I see is Cody just disappear.
Yeah, we're walking in, and it's kind of like a cattail marsh. And
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
There was a ditch running through it that was totally grown up. And I guess there was kind of a sinkhole off to the side of it because we were kind of paralleling that ditch.
Yeah.
And I stepped in that sinkhole thinking it was solid, and I went head underwater wearing hip waders, and it was a rodeo getting out.
Oh, it's brutal. Well, you friggin' buried your bow.
Yeah, buried my bow. I busted my eyebrow, so I'm bleeding all down my face.
Yeah.
It was not great overall.
We still we cleaned up the YouTube channel a little bit, but we still have that one up there, the 54-minute of us just talking. And
yeah.
That one's in there. You'll see his eyes all friggin' Rocky Balboa'd up.
Yeah, it was not great, but coming back to the lights, you know, using a red light, couldn't see that well.
Right.
Trying to go off of memory and everything. And it was just, especially on land, we'd scouted it once or twice, hunted it once or twice. We'd only seen it a couple times.
Right, and with a swamp, it changes, right?
Swamp changes all the time. The water shifts, new thing. Every time it floods, something erodes differently.
Yeah.
The beavers change it. I mean, it's constantly changing. And I guess that was kind of an eye-opening experience, caught the attention. So
definitely caught the attention of all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. And Joe didn't even come out. He just climbed a tree and actually saw 2 deer in the spot where I'd fallen through making all that ruckus.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was I think what do you see, 2 cruising bucks, like a 4-pointer
Yeah,
and a 6-pointer.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And I mean, it kind of played into the whole. We didn't sound natural walking in. We made a ton of noise. But those deer were moving so far. I mean, how many times have you come out of the woods early or late because it was just such a disaster walking in that you're like, there's no way I see anything.
Yeah, that's right.
I've done it. And now I'm like, man, the deer move so far. One example of that I have from this year, actually, if you want to, this is a little bit of a rabbit hole, but just going into the whole, it plays into your white light because a lot of times the deer you're seeing, you're not necessarily walking right by in the morning anyways. So we had cameras at our hunting club. We had one on one farm, one on another farm down the road. The cameras were approximately, I did a rough line measurement, straight line as the crow flies. They were 0.78 miles away from each other. And they were separated by a lot of water, a lot of cutover, fields. I mean, it was pretty much everything between the two. And we had a picture of a buck, nice deer. Cassidy killed it in December, the big 7-pointer.
Yeah.
We had a picture of him at 10:30 in the morning on one farm. We had him that same day in the evening, 0.78 miles away or 7.9 miles away on the far other farm. He'd moved all through the middle of the day, all the way across farms. We're like, wow, he moved a long way, must be behind a doe or something. But it was October, so presumably he's just establishing some territory, cruising, looking for that first hot doe.
Yeah.
What was funny is 3 hours later, he showed back up at the camera he was at 10:30 that morning. He just made a big loop.
You have corn out, or?
We had corn out at one spot, not at the other.
Huh.
And he just made a huge loop looking for does.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. I mean, you'll see. I mean, if you're going after a target buck that you got on camera, and then, you know, the rut goes on, you'll see how much weight they lose. And that's obviously from burning calories and going across the world just to find hot does to breed.
Absolutely. I mean, and here's the thing, a whole nother rabbit hole. Looking at cameras. We had cell cameras on both spots. Going off of the one camera, we'd have picked him up at 10:30. There was not a chance in the world that if you were hunting that specific deer, you'd have hunted almost a mile away that evening.
Yeah.
And he came in daylight, in that spot, an hour to dark. But 9 times out of 10, where are you going to go hunt that evening? Where you saw him that morning.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just crazy that they move so much. Hunt where you know the deer are going to be. You know, they have huge territories. They if you walk in with a bright light, you're not going to spook every deer in the woods that you may or may not see.
Right. No, I agree with that for sure.
So, but I will say, I'm going to caveat all this. We're flipping gears. Turkeys.
Turkeys. All right.
What do you walk in with when you turkey hunt?
I still come with a red green light.
So turkey hunting, I won't use a light at all. I refuse to.
Here's the thing. Let me clarify. Which I never do this, which is the best way to turkey hunt, right? You roost a bird, I'm not going there with a headlamp on. Because if I have it pinned, I will go in there with nothing.
Yeah.
But if I go in there and I'm just like, well, let's see if we get lucky today and just, you know, get on the old box call, that's when I go with a red or green light.
Gotcha. So,
but yeah.
I rarely roost birds, and I still won't use a light because I'm so particular. Like, they see so well. They don't. They're not colorblind, so they can see your light.
But you have a history with that spot.
Yeah,
so
I have a history with that area. Even on public land, I'm the same way. I still won't use. Like 2 years ago, we went and hunted public land. Me, my dad, my brothers in the mountains. We'd never been to the piece before, and still walking in the dark, just out of principle almost for me. But the reason being is, number one, I think they can see it. And number two, I just feel like it gives me a little bit of leg up on the competition.
Oh, absolutely.
And with deer hunting, I don't think the lights necessarily give me a leg up. It's more just how can I hunt them effectively.
Right.
But with turkeys, I don't worry near as much about my noise. I've blown deer out that were blowing and running everywhere, and then killed a turkey 30 minutes later in that same spot.
Yeah.
Where they ignore it almost.
Well, obviously, a turkey's #1 defense is their eyes.
It's their eyes,
right?
Exactly.
And with the deer, it's their nose, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, that's definitely right on about the turkeys. I know I've turkey hunted with you before. You go in there with maybe your cell phone, the light of your cell phone home screen.
Yeah, I'll use that to sit down to make sure I don't sit on a snake, and I'll cup it now. Just check where I'm about to sit down.
Yeah.
And if there's not a snake, I'll plop down, and that's that, and roll.
So you said on a public land spot, if you've never been there before, you go in there with no light.
Still walking in with no light.
So you just go on the topo map and see where you want to go.
I'll look at the map, figure it out, and roll. And the other side of it too, turkey hunting, I turkey hunt very uniquely. I won't set up until I hear a bird gobble.
Yeah.
You know, I'll walk around till I hear one gobble, and then I'll go set up on it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times I'm walking in, especially on public land, I'll pick a spot on the map and say I want to get to here. And I'll start walking well before light. But once I get to that area, I'm still standing on a path or something.
Right.
Or a high point. And I'll hoot, and once I hear one gobble, then I'll start working towards it and set up. But a lot of times that's right at dawn, so there's a little bit of gray light to work with.
Yeah.
I
agree with you. The only thing, I mean, there's a lot of variables that go into it, like not wanting to spook the turkeys.
Yeah.
Deer, right? But there's also another variable with public land especially. And, I mean, I guess if you're not out there, pretending to be a full strut turkey, like if you're not going around like that, you won't get shot.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the whole safety thing.
Yeah.
So if I go in there with
That's fair.
light and there's a, old, Johnny boy wants to get his first turkey, he's going to shoot anything that moves. Yeah. That is one reason why I would wear one. Now, behind the house, I have used a red light, which there should be nobody back there, but there's also the thing of not knowing.
Yeah.
So I'll admit to that I'll use the light for safety sometimes. But no, I agree with you on the whole thing of getting
I probably should on public land, but I also don't carry any decoys, so I don't worry as much about looking turkey-ish.
Yeah.
Which, for some folks, it doesn't matter. They're still crazy, but I like to think as long as I'm not carrying a turkey around with me, I hopefully won't be mistaken for one.
Oh man, you hunted on South Carolina public land.
Man,
they'll shoot you and bury you so nobody finds you.
That's a hard luck story. Oh man, that's gonna be a good one to tell. Maybe when we have our wives on, do like women in hunting. Me and Cassidy will tell that.
Oh, the one with the I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, no. So that's kind of what I got on the headlights.
I'm with you, and we agree on most everything.
I'd say 70% agreement.
70%, I'll take that.
Maybe 80.
Maybe 80.
Could be 80.
Yeah, I didn't think about getting the boxing gloves out.
Never even crossed my mind.
Nah.
How do you feel about camouflage?
Camouflage. Well, back in the day, they used to shoot them with blue jeans and flannel.
I won't wear blue jeans.
What'd you wear in college? You wore something like really...
I wear khaki pants.
Yeah, khaki pants.
I still wear khaki pants.
Alright, so we're going to reel back into the actual topic.
We're going to reel back into red and green lights.
Yep, like we said, we kind of agree on it. Going in, being quieter with a white light is definitely our go-to. And if we can, when we get to the bottom of the tree, or even when we're up, I guess I didn't mention when we're up in the tree, you don't want to be a lighthouse up there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you can. Now, I've turned it on before if I can't find crap and I'm getting ticked off and it's about to get light, right?
Yeah.
I'll turn the old white light on there.
That's me all the time because I'm a perennial. I'm always running late.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm always running late.
Yeah.
Deer's ears bother me.
It's alright.
Oh, alright.
But anyway, so...
Sorry, I just looked up and that was the end of my road. It's like It's like the dogs in the movie Up. Squirrel.
Well, you started talking about flowers, and then you saw him, and
Yeah.
all went out the window.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So yeah, red green light. Yeah, we agree. Just if you can use it, it's just like a tool in your bag with saddle hunting.
Yep.
If you can use it in a smaller tree, use it. But yeah, we're not telling you to do it or not. You know, use a red light or green light. We just.
But if you want to kill more deer, you should probably use a white light.
Yeah. I mean, I use it, so I mean, technically, yeah. So red, green light, white, whatever you want to do, 50-50. Just stay safe out there. You know, you don't want to end up like Joe and do the turtle in the middle of a creek.
I can't wait to have him on to tell that story.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. But yeah, we'll wrap it up. We want to apologize for not saying stories every single episode like we promised. I think we got most of them, but we'll stretch it on this one, I'll say.
I want to apologize for being sidetracked all the time.
Oh, me too. It's alright.
We're having fun.
Yeah, that's right. We're human. You gotta have fun. If you look at life too seriously, you'll cry. We don't want to cry.
If you look at that deer, you may cry.
He's alright. He's had a rough time up there. But he's hanging in there.
He's doing something. Alright, let's hear the story, Eric.
Oh, we're going off track. The story, oh yeah. Alright, so you're talking about hunting stories with red and green light. Let's do a total 180 on you and throw a fishing one in, right?
You fish with headlights?
If you're fishing on the surf, yeah. For sharks?
You think they see the white light on the beach?
No, well, this has nothing to do with... This has nothing to do with...
I was about to say, you think the sharks out there in the ocean see the white light on the beach and are like, no, I'm not biting this fish.
I mean, I can't argue that. I heard they have some pretty big brains. I was about to say, I have no idea, but no. I mean, you'll use a light on the beach when you're fishing. Obviously, if you're going in the water with it. Cody's looking at me like I'm like.
I don't know where this is going.
I don't either.
Wait to hear.
But I wasn't gonna talk about that. This is totally like what other uses a red or green light or a white light will do. All right. This story is I should have used a white light.
Okay. You were using a red or green light fishing?
No, I don't even think I used a light, period.
Oh, that wasn't very smart.
So, yeah, here we go, right? So Lauren's grandpa was a game warden, and he found great fishing spots on the surf, right? So we were in the Outer Banks.
Hey, moral of the story, real quick. Don't tell the game warden what you are or are not catching.
Yeah.
They'll end up bringing their grandkids and grandkid-in-laws to your fishing spot.
Yeah, they'll figure it out real quick.
Sorry, quick sidebar.
Has that happened to you before?
It's not going to now.
Yeah, everybody, we just saved them. You're welcome. So anyways, we're going to get back. Unless you want to tell another one.
I'll cut in if I need to.
Okay, alright, I'll be right for that. Just look at the deer. So, yeah, so we were man, we were a mess over here. Cody's got his big chug out, sipping through this straw, man. I can't keep my head straight. Oh, all right, we're gonna get through it.
All right, we got this.
I'm starting to cry now.
We got this.
So, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Take 10. So we get out on this, we're out on the surf, right? Outer Banks, and we knew we were going to get some pretty inclement weather?
Yeah, bad weather.
Bad weather, yeah.
Think that it's inclement?
Inclement. I didn't know it was inclement.
Man, we're so high society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big brains.
We need our suit and tie next podcast.
I know. I mean, we're on video right
Yeah.
now. I don't know what we're doing.
All right, it's bad weather. Let's keep it.
Are you sure you want me to keep going?
Yeah.
All right. So we're fishing, right? And we know we're gonna get. It's a hurricane at the time, and we're on the point of the Outer Banks. I won't say what point because, like you said, you tell people fishing spots. They're going to be there all the time. There's
Yeah.
already a ton of people there. So it's terrible. But anyway, that's beside the point. We're on the point of the Outer Banks. I'm going to get to the point. Get it? And we're going to cut a bunch of this stuff. And we know we're expecting bad weather. And if anybody's, even been on, there's most people have been on the beach, right? You get any kind of wind, it kills. That sand pelting you in the legs. Now this wind is almost neck level sandblast. Yeah. So.
Should have brought the John boat out there. Wouldn't have had to sand it.
Yeah, that's true.
Could have sandblasted it.
That would have been perfect.
Oh man, that's a good thinking.
That is a good idea.
Next hurricane.
Detailers, boat detailers. There you go. We just saved you a lot of time.
Take note. Hurricane.
So, anyways, I'm putting this friggin' 2-man tent up in 60-mile-an-hour winds or whatever the heck it is.
Y'all are going to camp on the beach in a hurricane.
So they have a camper, but they can't fit everybody in it. And regardless, I can't really sleep well unless I'm with my wife. If I have other people like snoring or stuff like that, I will not sleep a wink. So I'm like, alright, that's fine. I'll sleep in the tent.
So I take it Lauren doesn't snore.
She does not snore.
Okay, that's good. Can you snore?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Usually when I'm sleeping, I don't really know what I'm doing.
I don't snore, folks. I sleep talk.
Sleep talk.
Yeah.
What taking some medication?
For sleep talking?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do it.
No. Usually, when you like sleep talk or sleep walk, you got like some kind of side effect going on.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Just natural. That's how you fight the virus.
Yeah. I tell them, be gone from me
There you go.
while I'm sleeping.
Expunged.
Okay, so you're building your tent.
I'm building my tent. And man, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
We had to get on the side of the camper, so we blocked the wind, right? But it's still going right under it.
Yeah,
so I have a tent full of sand, and I haven't even gotten in the thing yet.
You're going to be chafing the next morning.
Oh man, hold on. So we get the whole thing set up, and then man, this thing is not going to stay in it. It'll stay in it because I'll be holding it down.
Yeah.
But those stakes are coming out tonight. So by the time we get the whole thing up, I'm like, well, this ain't gonna work. I don't know what we're thinking here. And so we take the whole thing down, and then I get in the cot tent, which it was great that he had it, because I don't know what, I guess I'd just be sleeping in the middle of the beach. So I got
hurricane.
In the hurricane, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm hardcore like that.
That's pretty intense.
But yeah, so I got in the cot tent, and I don't trust anybody, even if I'm in the middle of of a beach, right? Especially nowadays, 2025. People are crazy.
So this happened like in the last couple of weeks.
No, this was a couple months before we got married last year.
Oh, okay, so 2024.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Yeah,
2023.
2024. It was
2024.
May.
So you couldn't trust people last year.
I still don't trust them.
But you really couldn't trust
You don't
them
trust
last
them
year.
either.
No, I don't trust them either.
Yeah. So anyways, I brought my 9mm in there with me. Right?
Smart.
You gotta snuggle with the 9mm, and I was like, this is brutal. And I text Lauren, she's in the camper, and I said, I'm gonna sleep in the cab of the truck. And she says, well, I can't sleep either. So we're both sleeping in the cab of the truck. Literally, I'm in the passenger seat, she's in the driver's seat. Really comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's getting worse. Like there's like lightning just touching down in the middle of the ocean, as it does. And Lauren and I are like half asleep in the cab of the truck watching, like we're pointed at the ocean. Like,
yeah.
Well, each side is the ocean because we're at the point, but we're looking at the ocean, the cot tent's over here, and I'm like starting to doze off. And Lauren wakes me up, and what's going down the beach is my cot tent towards the water. And guess what's still in the cot tent?
Yeah, well, 9mm.
My 9mm. And we were just about to be like, oh, just let it go. But I was like, my gun's in there. So we both take running off with touchdown lightning strikes all around us to get this cot tent that has metal legs on it. And, it's pouring rain as well. And I mean, it was like probably from here to the camera away is until the camera's the water. And this is the caught temp before we caught it.
Wow.
And we caught it. And we brought it back. But that's pretty much the story.
So what you're saying is you needed a headlamp.
You need a headlamp for everything, even on fishing trips. But yeah, that's the story. Isn't that a good story? I had to bring out another light story, and that's what it was. Use your light. I feel like I should say use your light, kids.
Yeah. Man, we've got a lot of editing after this one.
Yeah, keep that whole thing in though, because that was a good story. Or not, or maybe you could just clip it into the the next episode we do with surf fishing.
We just recorded for 42 minutes. I have a feeling this podcast is gonna be about 22 minutes long.
Probably.
We had a lot of bullcrap going on.
Make sure you get at least one story in there for the fans.
We're gonna get at least 2 stories in there.
For the viewers, I don't know if they're fans of this yet.
I don't think we have any fans.
Maybe our parents.
I don't even know if my mom and dad have listened to one yet.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Mine haven't either. I know that's a fact.
That's how you know we've really made it.
Oh, we made it, man. We're big time. But yeah, red light, green light, white light. Which one do you like? Let us know.
Why don't you post a poll on Instagram?
Yeah, maybe we should do that.
Is that such a thing?
I mean, I think so. 2025, they should have one.
Y'all answer the poll.
Yeah, we'll Google it and everything on how to post it.
If anyone is still to this point, thank you for listening. We appreciate y'all sticking with us all the way through this episode.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be back next week. What do you want to talk about next week?
We'll
figure it out next week.
Yeah, we'll figure it out next week. We're not really clicking on all cylinders, but yeah, thanks guys.
We do have cylinders. See y'all.
Bye.